Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Santana Moss, Fred Smoot, and the legend, guy needs no introduction, Gary Clark. And we're here at the Muni in front of the best friends in the NFL. Thank you guys so much for coming out. That's fantastic.
How y'all doing?
And so, obviously, it's very special having Gary Clark here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, to me, you're Washington royalty. And the reason you're here is because it's awesome getting you around, but also we're going to talk about getting back to RFK. And I figure there's no better person to have on to talk about some memories at RFK. And I don't know if you've got any. It was a long time ago. Can you kind of give us some light on what it was like playing there and some of your favorite experiences?
Yeah, just paint a verbal picture of how it felt to walk in there and play a game. Because it's different than what we did at Northwest Stadium. Just take us there if you could take us there.
Well, first I want to let everybody know I parked all y'all's cars, so all y'all's cars are taken care of. I made sure Deshaun was on it too. I made sure all y'all's cars were taken care of, and nobody's messing with them because I am y'all's valet, that's for sure. But no, I mean RFK, it was just a whole nother thing, a whole nother world. Quite honestly, the fans were so dedicated. The stadium would rock when we were playing well. What I loved about it is, too, though, is when you weren't playing well, they let you know that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they let you know when you was playing well, and they let you know when you weren't playing well, and you need to take it up a notch. But RFK was, I'm so happy that it's coming back to this area and coming back to D.C.
And so is there anything that you remember? Because, like the seat cushion game, you remember anything about that? Like anything that kind of makes you feel some type of way about that, gives you the warm and fuzzies? I
mean, that was a special season to start with. I think, honestly, I think that 91 team maybe be the best team in NFL history in terms of Super Bowl teams.
No, it was voted the best football team in the NFL.
I mean, it was a special season, a special year. But again, one fan threw one seat cushion, and next thing you know, it was raining seat cushions. And you should see everybody, every player, just big smiles on their faces because when those seat cushions came out, pretty much we already knew that game was done, that game was won, and we're going to the next step, the next level. So I mean, Gary fans are the best.
My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. Gary, being a former player for this franchise and just, I don't know how long you've been up here since you last played, but I remember having those conversations with you when I first got here. You told me, Tanner, you'll be a fool if you don't stay in this area when you're done. Yeah. And I remember when I left and I was in school and I come back and you asked me where I was at, but not to chime too long on that. What is it like to just hear that it's a possibility that we might be getting back to, bringing DC home? Like, because, we haven't had the experience. Yeah. Logan played at the...
I did.
He played there
Could
before.
Could you believe that? Logan played a college football game.
College football game.
I did not know
at RFK. But what is it like just to hear that we have that possibility again? Because like I said before, me and Fred never got the experience, and you and Logan the only one can really attest for it.
I think automatically that rush of what happened in the past automatically comes to you. We start thinking about our great playoff years, our great Super Bowl years. Automatically, it starts coming back to you, and you start realizing that, the fans were just a whole nother thing. It was just so awesome. Like, after a game, when we won, I'm at least in the parking lot, hour and a half, 2 hours after the game, just hanging out with the fans, taking pictures, quite honestly, shooting the That's what we're doing with the fans. Yeah. And enjoying it. We all enjoyed it. We didn't run away from the fans. There was no special lot for us. Yeah. And if it was, it could have been, but I didn't park in it. I parked right where all the fans parked as well and enjoyed it. Now, if we lost a football game, don't say to me because I'm in a bad mood. But the fans understood that, and they knew that. They knew when to talk to me and when not to talk to me. If we lost a football game, I'm trying to figure out why we lost. If we won the football game, I'm celebrating it with those fans because they're the reason why we're playing in the first place. Our 12th man was off the chain, and they was off the chain again like last year at FedEx. I'm sorry, Northwest.
I was about to say, y'all earned that 12th man, though. That team, that fan base had got so used to winning at that time, they didn't know no other way of playing football. So the difference between me and Tanner playing, we played some good games at the former FedEx Field, but we didn't play a lot of meaningful games. You got to play a lot of NFC championships in RFK. Is it one game in the NFC championship that you say, you know what, we almost played outside our mind, I almost played the perfect game?
Well, for me, I played in 3 NFC championship games, but one was in New York. We didn't do so good in New York. My first one was in New York, and we lost, and that let me really know what Redskin football was. I was beside myself. I think there's only one time a grown man should cry. That's when they lose a family member or when you lose a freaking football game. I mean, because for me, that's when I've only time I've ever cried is when I lost family members and when I lost a football game. And that started from the time I was a little boy until the time I was a grown man playing for Washington. That Giants game that we lost in '86.
Yeah.
Man, I cried for at least the first 10 days after we lost.
Lord, I could have.
10 days?
10 days. At some point,
you just wake up and just be like,
at some point in time, I was going to do that. Plus, I didn't have a good game either. I didn't have a good game. I didn't do enough for our team to win the football game, so it bothered me. But it also put me on the mission for the following year. Because there's nothing worse than getting in the championship game than losing. Mm-hmm. I would have rather not gotten the game at all. If we're going to get to the championship game and lose, that's the worst feeling in the world. Mm-hmm. And I had that feeling, so the very next year I said, if we ever get a chance to get back to a championship game, I'm not losing that MF game. I'm not losing that game. I don't care what I got to do. I don't care what I got to do, what I got to say, what I got to do to my teammates. I'm not going to lose that game. So the next championship game was against Minnesota. That was a good game. It was a good game. We're battling. And for me, it was great because I had an opportunity to score a touchdown in that game. And our defense stopped. Darryl Green, your defensive back, stopped the guy coming. They drove back down the field. Yeah. And with no timeout, he didn't really deflect. He kind of ran in front of the guy. The guy dropped.
I won a 4-1, so I'm gonna get there eventually.
But getting to your first Super Bowl, it's just nothing like it. And I also cried then too because I was going to the Super Bowl, so I cried when we was going to the Super Bowl as well, just because. Childhood dream come true. Mm-hmm. I've been wanting to go to the Super Bowl since I was 5.5 years old. Yeah, that's when I started wanting to be a professional football player at 5.5. So having that opportunity to do these things at RFK, literally, they treated us like gods. Yeah. It was unbelievable how well the fans treated us.
I'm gonna say y'all earned it. Y'all earned it through the play. Y'all earned it through the play.
I think so. But we had fans that understood football. They understood when it was playing good. They knew when to cheer. They knew when to be quiet. They just knew when to help us win the football game at the end of the day. And 12th man, it truly is a real thing. Some people say it's just the 12th man is a real thing because you need to get geeked for a gig. You need that energy to come into you to allow you to come out there and make plays that typically. You make play. From perfect examples like Tana in that Cowboy game. I call him the Cowboy Killer, right? Yep. Those back to back. Come on now. I guarantee you felt like you could run through a wall. You felt like you could run through anything. And
Mario Brothers with the mushroom.
Oh man, that's just. It's just you guys know when you make plays that lead to making your team help your team win a football game. There's nothing like it other than parenthood, of course. Yeah.
And obviously, it's one of the reasons is because we got the best fans in the league, right? They're all out here. And we want to reward you guys because we got some merch. Anna, put your hand up over there. If you want merch, go see Anna.
We got
Command
free
Force
stuff.
is here. Command Force, say hi to everybody real quick. And then Major Tuddy's here. Yeah. Look at this
Tuddy,
guy.
what it do?
As you see, he's trimmed up. Tuddy is now on that Ozempic.
He's telling you to be quiet, though, Fred. Telling you to be quiet. You're giving away his secrets, right?
Hey, listen, he done trimmed up. He done trimmed up a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Does he look thinner, fans? Do you think he looks thinner or does he look the same?
Nah, he look skinny. He look like he in shape. Like we whipping everything back in shape right now. We couldn't have no hog that had a gut. We couldn't do that. All right, so we got.
All right, so guys, make sure you get your merch over there, and obviously, if you want to keep up with the RFK Stadium news, visit commanders.com/newstadium, where you can sign up to learn more and show your support. Because again, hearing these stories, I don't know how you don't want to get back at RFK, and let's make sure the ownership knows that we want to be back over there. All right, so today this is a fan-driven show. We're out here amongst the people at the Muni, which is actually a pretty cool spot, man.
Nice
they got golf stuff in the back.
I was shocked.
I saw you throwing a football back there.
I did a little tour.
Yeah.
I didn't do well.
What do you mean you didn't do well?
Because, we'll talk about it later, but it is a nice spot that I can see myself coming back and bring a couple of friends and having a nice outing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was cool. They got a digital quarterback thing. And Fred, how's your golf game?
No, it's pretty good. They call me Smooth DeChambeau.
There you go.
Check out our last episode.
I'm pretty sure y'all saw the last episode. Y'all saw that Fred is always lying.
If you don't believe in yourself, who is? You got to believe in yourself.
You have enough belief for everybody. Seriously.
You need it.
So it's a mega mailbag. So basically, fans submitted questions. If you guys who are here want to ask questions, you go up to producer Anna. she's going to vet the questions because we don't want any weird questions. So Anna's going to vet the questions. We get that cleaned up. We're going to start with our first question. It's from Darren. Would you rather win more games by luck or win less, but those wins are dominant? So the way I look at it is like you got a 12-win season where you just roll everybody.
Yeah.
You're like a bulldozer. You got a couple of bad losses in there, whatever. And then you got a 14-win season where, hey, man, we won the last possession. It's here, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
They had this conversation on the radio a couple of days ago about luck. And I almost lost it and jumped out my car on the beltway and started running. Right? Because in sports, you make your own luck. Our luck comes with preparation and how we prepare. And guess what? Sometimes the ball just bounces your way. Think about this. Everybody say the closed hand game with Tom Brady was luck. Well, he rolled off 6 more Super Bowls after that luck. Every great team has these lucky plays. Right? And I don't want to hear that we manifested this luck. It's part of when you got good energy and good chill around you, things just bounce your way. So I don't know what luck feel like. Luck ain't never did nothing for me.
That's something players say all the time, though. They think, I don't believe in luck, but sometimes
Got to have a little bit,
you
though.
get a little bit lucky.
Yeah, but the ball, I say not luck, the ball just rolled our way.
I mean, you got to think about it, too.
But it's luck, though, Fred.
No, it's
So-
not, you can't quantify luck.
How many years have we been sitting in that same position and it didn't bounce our way?
Thank you.
See what I'm saying? So
20 years.
I'm all for it when it does. And I think Fred has a little right to what he said is about sometime when you prepare the way that this team has prepared last year or was prepared last year, when that ball bounces your way, you're ready for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Me and my brother can attest to this. We had a high school coach, and he had a favorite saying what it was, Nori? Opportunity. Yeah, opportunity favors the prepared.
Yeah.
See? So there you go. Like when you're prepared for that moment,
Yeah.
it's not luck no more because
Yeah.
you was waiting, you practiced.
Yeah.
You anticipated this.
This time.
You knew one day you might be dealt this card,
Yeah.
and you was ready for it. So that's how I look at our season last year.
People say the Hail Noah that we had, the Hail Mary was luck. When I say I watch these guys practice this play all the time. So they practice it, they executed it. It ain't luck to me.
Gary, you a big luck guy?
I mean, I'm kind of like Fred. I think you do create your own. You're prepared to have good luck, and you do like Fred. We practice a Hail Mary the whole time.
All day.
But like, how many times in practice do you miss it though? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't work out.
There's a lot of times
We never caught one. We practice it every week, but we never caught one.
A lot of times you miss it, but it's the same thing. Sometimes you miss a tackle. Sometimes
Yes,
you miss a
I miss
pass.
interception.
There's a lot of things that you do, but the more you practice it, the better you're prepared for it. You know, in that situation. But I'm more like just win. I don't care if we won by luck or we won by skill. I just want to win,
Just get
period.
it done.
Just win, baby. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting more wins is nice, but there's something, I think back to like the Baltimore Ravens a couple years ago when they were just rolling people.
Yeah.
Like there's something to be said for just like dominant, like winning by 20-point wins. You know what I'm saying?
I know it, but people call it luck. I call it a team of destiny.
No, but I'm saying, is it better to be lucky? I'm not talking about Commanders
Lucky
last
or
year.
dominate?
I want to dominate though. You know,
Yeah.
if I was given a choice between
I mean, if you want me to answer that question,
dominate.
I would rather dominate. Yeah, I don't want to be lucky.
Yeah.
But like I said, some games, like even those dominant teams.
Yeah.
Like say for instance, my Hurricane team, my senior year.
Yeah.
We lost the one game against Washington earlier in the season, but we beat everybody else. That Florida State game could have easily been a loss for us if it don't go wide right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you might call that lucky, but guess what? You know what? We won the game. So I would rather be dominant than be lucky, but sometimes you need that
I'm
luck.
going to counteract y'all dominant. If you dominant all year and you're not playing in tight games, what happens when you get to the playoff and all the games are tight? I'd rather be that team that's been winning at the end of games because it proved favor for us last year because when we got in those times in the game, we was unbothered.
We was ready.
Right? We was ready for that.
Yeah.
Like right now, the OKC playing against the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers been winning tight games all year.
Yeah.
OKC been blowing people out, and right now that's working in the favor of the Indiana Pacers because they've been playing tight games all year long.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Correct.
Yeah, but like it's always nice to beat somebody by 20. I think. And again, it's luck is good. I don't care about the luck. Like ultimately, you want to win more games than you lose.
Yeah.
However you get there, like get there.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, my first Super Bowl, we weren't the most dominant team in the league at that point in time. We weren't. We was fortunate. We went away.
What year was that? Pop quiz.
Don't date yourself.
Sorry, no, it's okay. We'll get
It was
started.
90, right?
91?
90, 91?
It's 80 in the 80s.
The year of our sweet G.
I was born in '87, by the way. Just to give you.
That's the season, though. That was an 87
That's
season.
how young
so,
he is, yeah.
The 87 season, so that's what it was. But we started playing great football at the end of the season.
Yeah.
91, we just dominated.
Y'all was the most dominant team
That was the
ever.
most dominant team
So
ever.
which season was better?
I mean, we enjoyed the 91 season. I mean, just because 91, the swag was a little different. You know, we walked onto the field, we expected to kick your ass. We just expected it. We expected it. And sometimes that plays against you, though, too.
Yeah.
Because it took us actually getting our butt beat, unfortunately, against Dallas.
I was going to ask you about that. I think B. Mitch explained to me or told me one day that 91 team, y'all rolled everybody, but it was one game that y'all took a gut check.
And Dallas, I mean, and freaking Hail Mary in the freaking first half, and God comes down with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody, we're just looking, I was like, but we were arrogant as shit. we went into the game arrogant. The whole thing was arrogant. They had just did a big thing on us on NBC or CBS, one of the networks, about how great we were.
Yeah.
And then we go in there and we find out we weren't as good as we thought we were.
Yeah.
You know,
So
you
tell me, how
only
was
get
the
what you
bounce
put
back
in.
from that game, though? How was the bounce back from that
I mean,
game?
honestly, our team was just so good. Like, we should have won that game. Quite honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, we should have went undefeated that year. We should have had the perfect season. We were that good.
Yeah.
Really, really.
Y'all
good.
let the Dolphins off the hook.
Oh man.
Let him off the hook.
We should have been. I mean, and that's the part that made everybody play better, because we was pissed off that we lost that game and we shouldn't have.
So it's interesting. We just got a fan question from Cherie. What motivates you the most? Your love for the game, your teammates, or the fans that cheer you on every week? And it was interesting hearing you talk about that, because you were talking about what creates motivation. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of related to that question. Where do you find your motivation? Because I think, I read this question, it seems like a lot of external stuff, but as a player, and I've heard Tana talk about this, I always found it was internally motivated more than anything.
For me, it was teammates first, fans second, ownership third. And that's the way I looked at it. My teammates that you bled with and every day, but we also had expectations for one another. If you didn't meet our expectations on the team, we got in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, we just did. And there was no
Malice, none of that.
nobody's pissed off. It's more like, oh, my bad, dude. I need to get going, because that's when we're getting in your face. It's just saying you're not playing the way you should play, like how we know you can play. But sometimes now, kids today though, they may want to actually get into like a fist fight about it back and forth. If somebody say, hey, I mean, if you're not playing that well, and they take it personally, they just being honest. You're not playing that well. Tanner, we saw you score those 2 touchdowns back to back against Dallas, so we know how great you can be. So
how you can be.
Play that way every week.
All the
at
time.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
And
Mine was more internal. I think I've always was self-driven, and especially when you have the upcomings of a guy that's been told all your life, you can't, you're not, you can't. So, I was always determined to go out there and prove people wrong, but at the same time, I never really cared about proving them wrong. I just wanted to show myself that, man, don't allow that to affect my mindset, my thought process. On the other part of that, the fans. I barely talked to y'all when I was in the locker room with y'all. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love my teammates. I went out there and played every game just to make sure that they can look at me and I can hold my head high in that locker room. But I wouldn't allow myself to leave a game or a stadium without giving the fans what they came to see. That's how I always felt. So I will always say that I go internally first. I was always driven, and then I wanted to make sure that every fan that came to that paid their hard-earned money, that game, they got a show. And even if I didn't give them a show, I went out there and fought hard until I saw them zeros on that clock.
I'm glad Mary and Barry and 2 kids just gave y'all their political right answer. That they just gave y'all.
you got to earn your check.
Fred's about to say
We
some
know
crazy
you ain't
stuff.
care about nobody.
Say some craziness right now.
So let
just
me
get
set
ready.
the tone and the truth telling.
We already know.
Truth telling.
Hey, I went out there because I had
For
fun.
myself. No,
I had fun. I had fun
Okay.
playing a
That's better than I
kids
thought, actually.
game.
Okay.
I had fun walking into that stadium. I smiled from the time the game started till the game was over with. I have never had a real job in my life yet. All right, I'm still talking about a kid's game. All right, and 2, the fans. It's nothing like I can't buy that adrenaline no more. I can't find it in the grocery store. I can't find it playing golf. It's nothing like having 80,000 fans screaming your name at one time. You can't manifest that nowhere else. The sports environment is the environment as itself. So when I'm hearing that and the ground starts shaking, where can I find that at? Nowhere else. So it's the whole experience, it's the stadium experience, and it's a chance to live a dream that's not promised for everybody. So I never took it for granted.
But I said that too, though.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Freddie added a little salt and sugar to it, whatever you want to call it.
No, they got up here and said, you know what? By golly, it was all for y'all. You know, that's what it was for. It was all for y'all.
Wait, who gave the best answer? Was it Fred? Was it Gary or was it Tanner? What do you think? Fans, what do you think? Who gave the best answer?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, they don't care. They don't even know what you said. All right, let's get to the next question. Linda asks, what strategy led to the significant reduction in penalties last season? So, Linda, real quick before we get started, last year was about what it was the year before, and was about what it was the year before that.
Yeah.
So it's been about league average for about 4 consecutive years. What I will say, I think this question leads to is a perception, right? When the team does well,
yes,
I think fans focus less on the negatives.
And I think the negatives didn't come at the inappropriate time.
Sure.
Like, because the team is coached so well and so disciplined, they didn't let those mega mistakes that we used to make in our time in this fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, we're driving the ball, and here we go get a holding penalty, and now instead of 1st and 10, it's 1st and 20, and we behind the chains, and we just stuck ourselves in the foot. They did not do that this year, and plus, like you said, with the winning, because when something stinks, the best deodorant is winning, and that's what they did. You don't notice something stinks sometimes until, ain't no winning involved.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure, Gary, did people talk a lot about the penalties you had when you were here when winning games? Probably not, I don't think.
No, I mean, we won a ton, so at the end of the day, we really...
Yeah, we can't say the same.
See, he didn't have the problems we had.
I never went through this.
Yeah, he never went through the dark times we went through.
See, I heard the problems was more with Gary, because Gary cursed everybody out. That's what the problems was.
But guess what? Everybody lead in their own way. Because you was more quiet, more like just follow me. Fletch would say his speech before the game, spit on half of the defense. Like, everybody had their if you ain't been spit on by London Fletcher, you ain't played football in the NFL. That's the way this game goes. Right? I just accept people for however they want to do.
So what was the question again? So Fred made me lose train of thought.
No. So basically the question was, why were there less penalties than there were last year? But there weren't actually less penalties.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think it was less, but I think also Fred hit it on the head. Years before that, you would see it because there was no winning behind it.
Yeah.
And it was like a domino effect. Once one occurred, it was more after each other. And before you know it, they stubbed themselves in the foot or in the toe, and they found themselves in a situation where they punting the ball or they just not getting no production out of that drive. Last year was a total difference. You saw the penalties. It was spurts though. It was games where they had the penalties, then was games they didn't. And the games they had the penalties, it was like that Giants game. The Giants game was the game that they could have easily lost that game, but they found a way to win by just kicking all field goals. That shows you that team was kind of built in a different way.
By any means necessary.
Any means necessary. They understood that even when they're not playing their best, they can find a way to win the game. So I think that stood out more than anything last year because our team was so well defined throughout like on every level that they can win even when they not having their best game.
All right, let's go on to the next question. So what we got? Oh, Major Tutty, what we got? This is like a ballot coming in here.
Got a Tutty alert.
What we got? What is your favorite thing about Major Tutty?
Oh my
Seems
God.
a little self-serving.
This is from Tutty himself.
Is it? Fred, what's your favorite thing? Let's start.
He smells like bacon.
He smells like bacon. That's a good one, Tutty. You do smell like bacon. You can nod. You can nod a little
Who don't
bit.
like bacon?
What you got, a favorite thing?
He looks like a receiver. That's my favorite.
He's trimming up.
I like the fade, actually. That's my favorite thing about Major Tutty.
He do got the fade.
My favorite thing from Tutty is the dap. Every time I see Tutty give me a nice pound that let me know who he is.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell nobody who he is, but I know from my pound, brother. That's my favorite thing about Tutty.
Tutty, thank you so much. What a great question. I think the fans really want to know what that really fan-leaded question.
I think that was from Tutty.
Uncle Lou, who are you most impressed with of the year 2 guys, rookies, and UDFAs? So before we get started, right, Tana, why don't you take the year 2 guys? Fred, why don't you take the rookies because you're the draft guru?
You are right.
I got to say that.
You're right.
I'll take the UDFAs, and Gary, you say.
I'll just be quiet.
And no, Gary, you say whoever you want. Say whoever you want.
Be quiet.
Most impressed with. So, Tana, you want to start with year 2 guys?
Okay, I'll start with year 2 guys, but I don't know if I'm going to answer this the way that Uncle Lou wants it because he asking me who am I more impressed with.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be impressed when you really ain't doing much yet.
When they pillow fight right now.
they still out there just preparing and getting themselves ready. But I would say this. It's a guy who I spoke about last year that didn't get a lot of playing time. We know why. And this year he might not get a lot of playing time. But when he gets in the game, just knowing who he's behind, I'm sure you guys are going to be thrilled to see what he has in store. And I would say that guy is Jordan McGee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's a specimen.
But you've loved him since day one, though.
Yeah, it just, I mean, you know how like when you, remember back when we was kids and you got those action figures and how they was created.
Chisel.
And you actually want to draw those guys. Like I remember drawing He-Man and just every muscle and every cut.
Exact.
Yeah.
When you look at Jordan McGee, that's how you look, you know. And I say pause to that because I don't want to be talking about a grown man like that. But he put together real well, man. And
you share, brother.
I also know he can play some good football. So
it's a safe space.
It's a safe space, yeah. You know, you guys are my brother, so I feel like I can talk.
I appreciate that, Tana. Thank you. Yeah.
And the fans know me, so you know I can talk about this guy like that. But I also believe too, being behind a guy like Wagner, just getting that experience, just getting all that. I'm pretty sure he's teaching them everything he knows. And just not only that, just watching that guy. You remember how you talked about when you came in, you had Dion in the room, you had Champ in the room, you had Darryl Green in the room. And a young Smoot was just sitting there as a sponge, man. You just picked up everything. You know what I mean? You went out there and had one of your better years of your career, your rookie year. Jordan didn't get a chance to play as much last year. So just imagine sitting behind a guy like Wagner, being the guy that he is, the specimen that he is, what he has in store. So I can't wait to see what he has in store this year.
All right, we want to talk about the rookies. I got to start with...
most impressive,
most impressive. Like, I'm really impressed with Connolly Jr., so I want to start with our first-round pick first, all right, because he's a guy... Playing left tackle is a very hard thing to do as a young guy. But from what I'm hearing,
I'm honestly surprised you didn't say Trey Amos. You've been talking about Trey Amos.
I was waiting for it.
So much. I was waiting. And all of a sudden, I feel like you just sabotaged this whole show.
That was low-hanging fruit.
By talking about Josh Connolly.
That was low-hanging fruit. I want to talk about the position that's not sexy. I want to talk about the position you don't know you need it until you need it, until it's too late. I want to talk about the position that when Gary was playing, they was called the Hogs, and now we got a group called the Wild Boars, and they have the ability to have, I think, 3 to 4 Pro Bowlers on this offensive line easily, especially if Connolly Jr. turns into what we think he can become, the athlete that he would become. If you dominate the trenches, you dominate games, and if you dominate games, you win championships. So I'm going with Connolly, all right? Most definitely.
Gary, you have somebody you just can't wait to watch in 2025?
I agree with what Tana said, and I agree with Fred.
All right. I'll go.
I'm getting ready to agree with what you said.
Oh, I appreciate it. Awesome, man.
He can't wait to see Trey Amos.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to say I got UDFAs. So the UDFA that stuck out to me probably the most is Robert McDaniels from Jackson State. So he's like 6'2", 200 pounds, kind of that hybrid safety linebacker type. And I just feel like he's got a good shot to make the team on special teams. Now, like Tana said, it's OTAs and minicamp. So they haven't really done anything yet, which leads us, I think, really nicely to the next question, which is from Justin, who's here. Justin, are you around here? Hand up. Yes, Justin.
What's up,
Fan
Justin?
question. Excellent
job. All right,
job.
what do you got?
So 30 of 32 teams opt in for joint practices. What are the advantages and disadvantages, and why wouldn't the Chiefs opt in for joint practice? So the reason I bring that up is because I think joint practices are a great opportunity to evaluate.
It's way better than
UDFAs specifically, right? UDFAs, young guys, and it's an opportunity to kind of get practice reps. Get preseason reps in a practice setting. So you're keeping guys safe and getting that situational work at a high level.
I think you can actually do higher level exercises and actually run more plays in a practice than you can in a preseason game.
Because there's no film.
Yes, it's no film on it. So now we get to really get at it against another team, and I think you can actually make a team at one of these joint practices before making plays before you can in the preseason game. I really do feel like that setting is a harder setting than a preseason game, and you get more work in from positional groups, and you get more work in from offensive the defensive groups.
Gary, did they do joint practices when you were playing, or was it just like go kill yourselves up at camp?
We.
You guys did double days, the whole thing, right?
Yeah, he did 3 a days.
Did you really? 3 a days? Dude, okay, I got
training camp.
I got a story about London Fletcher. Fletcher came up to me. He was like, "Hey man, we used to do 3 a days all the time." And then 4 or 5 years later, I asked him about it again. He's like, "Oh, we never did 3 a days."
No, that's what I'm saying. And I was with the last team that went to Carlisle, Pennsylvania. You did Carlisle, Pennsylvania the entire time, and I never knew Pennsylvania could be that hot. I never knew. I thought the devil lived in Pennsylvania.
You got any good training camp stories, Gary?
Training camps was, there was a lot of fighting in training camp because you had like 4 to 6 weeks to try to make the team.
Yeah.
Because typically for the coaches, they preset their roster pretty much. So as a rookie, you're trying to come in and make your place on the team. You're trying to do something that allows you to stand out so the coaches recognize who you are and recognize that you can play that game. So training camp, we hated it. It's Carlisle, Pennsylvania, but it was the best thing because we all bonded together because we hated it together.
Yeah.
We hated it together, so we would get together and talk and hang out and talk about how hard practice was that day and the whole 9 yards. But I would love to play in today's game.
Because they don't practice.
They don't practice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't put on pads anymore, so it's a little different thing. But everything changes at time.
Yeah,
that's what it does.
To that point, I do think joint practice, again back to Justin's question, allows for some of that intensity to ramp up, right? Yeah. So that's why it's a good tool, right? More drills, higher speed, more play-specific stuff, more situational stuff. So it's a great opportunity. All right, next question. What? You don't like joint practices.
Hell no. You know I don't like joint
But no one likes training camp though.
No receivers don't like that practice.
We don't have to talk about it, but we can go to the next question.
You can talk about it. I want to hear what you guys. I've heard you talk about it before. For the people
I was going to say, y'all heard me tell y'all why. So joint practice, to me, there's a few guys that need it. Those guys on the bubble, those undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
So I understand for those guys who say, I love those practices. But for a guy like myself, what am I getting out of it? I'm at a practice, a glorified practice that Gary just spoke on it. We fight throughout practices. I'm fighting guys on my own team. So you know what I'm going to do with a guy on the opposite team.
That is true.
So when you're going through drills in a joint practice, you're going through a regular practice, and then we blow the whistle and say, now let's go live. It's hard to get up into a game setting after I just went up through all these individual drills, one-on-ones, all this routes on air, and then now I got to go play a game against another, opponent.
Yeah.
And I got to put it on tape.
It's in the same day, though, too.
It's in the same practice. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, for my opinion, I just don't like joint practice. I think that I don't get nothing out of it. I feel like I'd be exhausted at the end of the day, and then I'm sitting there watching myself on tape, put bad stuff on tape half of the time.
Yeah, but who gets a lot out of it is Adam Peters, the coaches. As players, I'm with you because I didn't like him either. But it is a good tool to help with the evaluation.
I love watching the other guys compete, though. I did like the guys who wasn't going to probably get in the
coaches. Yeah. That's what they're going to analyze the other talent that they got because they already know, like.
70%.
They already know. They already know for the most part who's going to be on the roster, who they're going to keep. They're waiting to be surprised by somebody that makes them be like, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
This guy's extremely good. Next thing you know, he's pushing to get into the starting lineup. You never thought he'd existed really beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Our team, we did really well when people talk to us.
Yeah.
Like that's what really got
y'all going.
I'm definitely getting that vibe from this conversation.
Yeah.
You kind of like getting stirred up.
You writing that down over there?
I love when somebody talks.
It ain't just me this time. I got my guy with me.
James, these receivers with the potty mouth.
I got the bleep busters.
Oh, my bad.
Don't apologize.
My bad.
Hey, misery loves company.
I'm glad I'm a man of the Lord. I don't do nothing.
I'm a deacon's son. I was not supposed to come out, by the way.
But it's interesting you say that because it's like it allows coaches to see guys who need to develop. And I think that leads us nicely into Brad's first question, which is how long are you willing to wait for players to develop before cutting bait, before moving on? And I think we've all played with guys who've been around way longer than they should have been.
Yeah.
And also been around guys who were cut
too early.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And so if you're a coach, if you're a GM, like what makes a guy stick around a roster and what makes a guy get out of here quick?
So one of the things I would say is the first question was asked, how long are you willing to wait? I have a 3-year period. I think I have a 3-year period to see my guys become pros. I give them that grace. And I'm not saying this because it's just something that popped up in my head. I felt like since I entered the league, I watched guys that was either that came in with me or that came in after me that I watched. It took them at least up into 3 years. Some guys got it in year 1, some guys got it in year 2, some guys hit it dead on the head in year 3. So I think you give them that grace period for 3 years, and then you say, okay, now that this third year gonna make it or break them. You know what I mean? And I found out as a wide receiver, a lot of us kind of matured by year 3. Like my class in 2001, I believe Chad and Snoop Menace was the first 2 guys that jumped off on the screen and kind of went out there and dominated in year 1. And then by I think Steve Smith went to a Pro Bowl, but he went to a Pro Bowl as a kick returner.
Yeah.
But as a receiver, year 3, he had 1,000 yards. Year 3 for myself, I had 1,000 yards. You see what I'm saying? So, but I'm not sure if that's just by a player or by the team allowing us to do more by that year. So I kind of would want to give every guy like around that same grace period.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good point, Tana, is it does take, I mean, offensive linemen have a similar arc. It's like year 3, year 4 is when they kind of start hitting their stride. I think they get used to the speed of the game, things like that. The thing that I think keeps guys on rosters, though, is the P word, which is potential.
Yeah,
right? If you're a big, athletic, good mover, they're going to find a way to keep you around on the roster, hoping that they figure it out with you. Because I don't want to cut that freaky, tall, athletic guy with long arms and say, oh, he goes to Detroit and then plays really well. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, for me, Fred, I don't know how you feel about it, but that's one that sticks out to me.
Well, I think everything is by case-by-case basis, let's be honest, because I've watched the team give a guy like Chris Clemens time to develop, and he develops into a Pro Bowler to another team. I have watched teams give up on a wide receiver just a little bit too early because they needed the roster spot. So I think it has a lot to do with how much success do you have. The successful teams usually have a lot more patience than the unsuccessful teams when it comes to projects, because they usually got their guys. They got their baseline guys. But if I got a rotating door, it's going to be hard for me to hold on to that project before somebody else reaps the potential that I couldn't do because we didn't have the patience. So it has to be patience meets potential. Like, there go the equation for me.
No, I think that's 100% right. And I think this is interesting, Gary, maybe in talking about your development. We got a question from JC. And he says, how was it playing alongside Art Monk? And what teammates helped you develop in your process, right? So, like, I think about, we just talked about how long do you guys stick around. I think about how informative other players were in my career. How about Art Monk and some other guys that helped you along the way? And how was it playing the next Art Monk, who's Hall of Famer? I
mean, Art was just when I first came to Washington, the passing game was completely built around Art.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it was 100% built around Art.
So did he play like your true X outside guy?
No, I was the X.
You were the
Art
X?
was the Z. He was the guy that would go in motion, movement, you know. I mean, he was better off the ball than somebody's on the line of scrimmage, because on the line of scrimmage, you got to get away right now.
Yeah.
You know, still going in motion, you got to get away now, and you got to be quick.
The opposite way that they do it now.
But Art, So with Art, but I mean, and to me, I mean, he's, if not the best, one of the best. I think Charlie Taylor's the best we ever had at that position. I think Art is second. I think Tanner's third.
Get out of here, man.
Tanner's third, huh?
I'll be somewhere like 5, 6.
No.
I'll put you up there.
To play at the speed that you play for the amount of years that you play.
Yeah.
I mean, the average lifespan when you guys are, the average lifespan is only 3 years.
Yeah.
When we played, it was only 3 years. It's 3.5 years now. I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you don't do it in 3 years, your ass is gone anyhow. At the end of the day, if you don't show up. So to have the type of career that you have, Tanner, at that position.
Yeah.
I mean, like for example, my hamstrings were shot by kind of in my third year. Quite honestly, I used to be able to play with a lot of pain. I was okay playing with pain, but I mean, it's hard to play that position at that level for that amount of time, for that amount of years. But Art Monk is 100. I mean, when we came in, he was like a god to the receivers. Like, I mean, it was Art Monk. We say, well, whispering, that's Art Monk.
So was he there before you?
He was there. He was there 5 years before me.
So he was like an established.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what the offense was built around.
Oh, my gosh.
The offense was already built around.
And how is it? Because I've been around all three of y'all, like sitting at a table, and I ask y'all every question. You remember I posed the what happened if y'all three versus me, Champ and D Green? We had that conversation, but I noticed Art just so quiet.
I mean,
so did you have to study him more to kind of pick up on his stuff? Because Art is just naturally a quiet guy.
Yeah, I mean, and because he was such a different physique than I was, it was a different type of study. I looked at how disciplined he was about about how he went about his job.
Gotcha.
That's what I picked up from Art, because I'm completely different frame than Art. I was not going to be able to do the same thing that Art. Like Art, 6'3", 215, 220 pounds. He could just hit you off the line and then get open. Like me, my rookie year, I'm 5'9.5", 155 pounds.
So I don't understand that, because you said you was the X at that size.
Yeah.
Normally it's reversed.
No, but then we did a lot of dodges. Everything is based on that little 5-yard dodge zone. You said, man, you run away, and Art was a master at that.
Like the choice runner. He was the choice runner.
So tell me this, because I remember me and you had this conversation with Ricky, and I thought he stole one of your touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
I did.
Tell the fans that story about when you thought the ball was coming to you and it went over your head, and then, you saw the back of Ricky's jersey.
I just saw Ricky streaking right past me. I was like, I got the post.
So what was that play? How did you both get in the same area?
Ricky decided he was going to go take that shortcut.
Lord have mercy.
I'm like, I'll take it back. We both have posts, but I had the deep post.
And he had the shallow.
And
Ricky like 40 yards downfield. I tell you what, though,
he can
Ricky
fly.
Sanders,
He can fly.
he does not get the credit that he deserves. He's one of the best receivers that's naturally gifted. Naturally gifted, Tanner. Could do everything. Anything and everything you ask him to do. I mean, he was a utility guy.
Good
he
guy,
could play
too.
what I did at X, he could do what Art did at Z, and then he blocked as an H.
Wow.
You know, he was our H back, so I mean.
Tough as nails.
And he broke Super Bowl 22, he broke that record.
Yeah.
Because he stole my damn touchdown pass.
Still salty about it.
I love it, man. Every time I hear it, every time I see Rick, that's the first thing I think about.
Oh, Ricky's a good guy.
Oh, man.
All right, that was a nice detour, but let's get back to the fan question. So Harry asked, could someone like Luvu benefit from switching to edge rusher?
Yes.
You think so?
Oh,
I'm going to push back hard on this, Fred.
Yeah, the thing about it is, this guy's a momentum downhill guy. Even when he coming to make tackles.
But even when you just described him, he's a momentum downhill guy.
Yeah.
So as an edge rusher, I'm starting from a stationary position.
Yeah,
But what stationary position? They go the thing with him.
That don't suit him well.
Just like they had Michael Parsons left, right, coming through the A gap, coming through the B gap. This guy, like when you got a guy that's organized chaos on defense, you want to unleash that organized chaos by any forms necessary. And I think sometime last year, especially in passing downs, dropping him back into zones and stuff like that.
What is he talking about?
But he got an interception doing dropping in the zone.
He got an interception. I just think as a defensive player, as a cornerback, he worth more to me rushing the passer than he is running sideline.
But I think at the position he's at right now, where he can move around as a linebacker, pick his gaps that he want to bring pressure through, line up on the outside. To me, I like him. To me, he has more of a Michael Parsons, role
he
right now.
He still would be a linebacker, even though he coming off the edge.
But I'm saying
nothing changed.
This being set on one side, left or right.
I don't think they'll do that with him.
Okay.
So just from like a purely X's and O's standpoint, I look at what he does, and I don't like the matchup of him rushing on a tackle or a guard. I want him rushing on a back. So if I can formation defensively, right, get my 4 down there, have Bobby and him up in the A gap, he's going to win against the center and he's going to win against the back. Like that's the matchup that I'm hunting for him. So like the flexibility of his alignment is the thing that gives him value. So I always think people say, oh, just move the dude to edge rusher. It takes a special athlete.
And I think he's that special athlete. I think he can do it. Like it's nothing about his skill set that tells me he can't do it. He got long arm reach. He got low being around the corner. He got a knack for finding the quarterback. And I also want to have a guy that the offense wants to find. All right, because now he's opening it up to everybody on the backside.
So basically, you want him to play the role that Fowler played last year. Because Fowler was just an edge rusher.
All right, let's just say this. How about we meet?
He doesn't want that.
You don't want that.
No, let's just say we meet halfway and say in passing situations, he's the designated edge rusher. Third downs, second and long.
But you don't like him moving around. I think he's better moving around.
No, me as a defensive player, I get more from him with him going up the field. I just do.
He's confident to be sure. Right?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
You can't tell him that he's wrong.
They don't call me Freddie Seifert for no reason.
Freddie, who's Freddie Seifert?
You got more names than damn dictionary.
No, Coach Seifert used to coach for the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
George Seifert.
I didn't know that. But all right, here we go. Next question, Chris. I don't really understand this question, so we're just gonna roll with it.
Yeah.
Will Jaden Daniels change his cadence? why not change it to confuse the defense? So we have multiple cadences.
I've been saying we got multiple cadences. Like, no, they don't need to be touched. That now
because it also confuses the offense.
No, this is what I hope he's asking. Is he going to have more control at the line of scrimmage on changing plays?
I mean, he did a lot of that last year too.
So it's only going to get more on his plate, right? So I think they asking, is he going to be more Peyton Manning-ish at the line of scrimmage and get a little bit more control of the offense through the cadence and through the changing of plays?
What I think Dan kind of talked about last year in that first round playoff. I think that was the first round we played Tampa. He called his own shot on that
running play.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's wide open for him to do things like that because he's that caliber of a player. So if that's the question that's been asked, I'm sure that Jaden, Dan, and Cliff and those guys will allow him to kind of cook when he wants to cook.
Put more on his plate.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And Gary, you played with a bunch of different quarterbacks. Can you maybe talk about how you got to learn a different cadence for a quarterback?
Yeah.
Like it is a process. It's not like something you can just pick up right away.
It seems like what the fans want is him to become like a Mark Rippon. Like Mark Rippon, Joe gave him the ability, like everything for us was check with me. Like
really?
Mark, like 75 to 80% of our offense was Mark calling plays at the line of scrimmage. He'd go up, he'd check out the defense, and then he'd call a play.
Yeah.
So if he has that type of intelligence, then heck yeah, let him do it because, I mean, Mark was a smart guy, a very intelligent guy, you know. And
it give you a leg.
I didn't realize that he was that involved in the offense.
Yeah, like he was just extremely intelligent guy, you know, low key, cool for a quarterback, you know. I mean, he didn't have the typical air that a quarterback had. Neither is Jaden, quite honestly. Jaden comes across to me as just so chill and laid back. He gives all the credit to everybody else. He doesn't take that credit in because a lot of times quarterbacks get all the credit. Just always kind of been that way. And he shares the credit with his receivers, with his linemen. He's a smart player. And what I love about him is he understands how the game was played to come in. Like everybody adored him once he got here as a quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't come in saying like, I'm the guy.
I'm going to be the reason.
He came in saying like, we're a team and we're going to put this together and we're going to win together.
Yeah.
We're the guys.
Yeah.
And that's the part I think where everybody likes about it.
Gary, it's almost like you produced this show with us because that leads us really nicely into Phil's question, which I think is relevant here. Can I, as a fan base, can we believe in Jaden Daniels? Can he do it again? And so, Fred, I know this is like your time where you get up and want to do your sales pitch about nice things. Yeah. But it was interesting hearing Gary talk about how Mark kind of followed a similar trajectory, like humble beginnings, kept grinding, kept working, and kept improving. Yes. So can the fan base be locked in on Jaden Daniels?
Do not be afraid to believe in greatness. Do not be afraid to think that he's actually going to get better. Let me put this equation out to you. How do you stop a pinpoint passer that happens to be one of the fastest people on the offense? You don't. You hope to bottle him up. Yeah. And you're talking about somebody that's uber intelligent, who's a sponge, who's only going to get more. Like, if you thought he had confidence last year, he's going to have even more confidence this year. So the confidence is up. The skill set is up. The passing will be better. The playbook will be better. Yeah. We brought in more weapons. We got him a better offensive line. Yes, feel good about him being Jedi 5. He will be the ultimate force multiplier. He will.
See, I told you could sell cars. So you one of the best. You one of the best salesmen in the business.
Best salesman in the business for sure.
And I approve that message.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think when it comes to just what we did as a team, when you get better in front of him, when you get those, you call them wild boars.
Yeah.
When you add to the wild boars, you get a Tunsu. You get a JCJ.
Yeah.
You make those two guys alone make everybody else better.
Everybody, because Coleman get the move.
You move Coleman to his natural position.
Yeah.
And then not only that, then you add a weapon in the outside in Debo Samuels, who can be a Swiss Army knife. He could be in the backfield, could be an H-back. You know, back in the day we call H-backs like tight ends.
Yeah.
So he could be an H-back, he could be a tight end, he could be a running back, he could be a wide receiver. And then you add more, guys around him that's going to allow him to be able to go out there and so cook. But one of the things that I want to point out, what you said, he's a passer first. See, when we see guys that have problems in year two, it's because they they was running quarterbacks that the league said, you know what, we're gonna make you now
Throw the ball.
Throw the ball.
Yeah.
They don't want him to throw the ball.
Thank you.
Late in the season last year, a lot of our defenses that we went up against, they sat back and wanted him to throw the ball. And guess what he did? Pick him apart. So coming into year 2, I would say these guys are they not sure what to do. They don't want to rush him.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit back. They just want to play defense and hope that they can at least cover more guys to not give him an option. So I think he's just going to have one of those years that another great quarterback or a quarterback with great potential is going to have, and he's going to thrive. I think, and his team is going to thrive because he has the weapons. He have the guys up front to block for him, and like he said, he's Jedi 5, man. He's something to watch.
So, fans, I got a question. We got hell yeah or hell nah coming up right now. And the thing is, I want to ask the fans, and I want to hear it from you. Can you guys believe in Jayden Daniels? Hell yeah or hell nah? That's pretty good. It was
That's a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
No. They believe they just been scorned and burned by us a little bit, and you got to earn that respect. You have to earn that trust.
You burned him, Fred?
No, it's just like
We all burned him.
It's just like you letting the kid use the car and they come back and scratch the car up. You got to re-earn my trust to drive again.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So now, the first hell yeah or hell nah. Terry, Debo, and Ertz are the best veteran slash professional receiving options since the posse.
Ooh, I don't know, because that Jordan Reed, that Jordan Reed, Santana, Pierre, and was Deshaun part of that
was
group?
there, yeah.
was there.
I might have to go, because Jordan Reed don't get the love he's supposed to get, because he had to retire early. But Jordan Reed, for a small stint, was unstoppable at the tight end spot. Then when you got Pierre, who is a yak machine, you got Tanner and D-Jack, 2 of the fastest receivers to ever play the game. I don't know.
So what do we got, Tanner?
I'm not gonna compare him against no other group. I just say hell nah because I believe that the posse was.
No, but it's since the posse. So the posse.
Oh, since the posse.
They said they the best group since the posse.
That's their own thing.
Oh, since the posse? Nah. I won't be giving myself no credit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I've been around some groups, man. I've been around some guys that and I had to hold him up himself. But at the end of the day, we did what we had to do. But I say hell nah.
Yeah.
Hell nah.
Gary, I mean, maybe you talk about how good the posse was, just as a standard. You already alluded to it a little bit. Like, it seems crazy. Hall of Famer, borderline Hall of Famer, like 3 guys. I don't know. Every team is looking for that model now. No, how good are they though? Is what I'm saying.
So Ricky, Art, and Gary alone.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how good were they?
They're at the top. They saying who the second best group we done had since then, and there's only a couple of groups you can put on them. This group that we got
this group hasn't started. They haven't played a game together yet, so we can't say yet.
So then you got your groups that you had, and you got different groups because people don't like to give Brandon Lloyd his prop. B. Lloyd was a problem.
Yeah.
Then you had Randy.
He's a good player, but he was only here for what, like a year?
No, he was here for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
So it been some groups since then. I just don't know.
I think my most productive group was when I was in a slot in 2012 when we had Hankerson, Pierre,
Josh
Morgan, Al, and myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a group that you can compare to those guys, but I still would put those guys in front of us because of Super Bowls and everything else.
It's also
like
the longevity, too. You guys did it for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're fortunate. We got to play together for like 7 years straight.
That's crazy.
That doesn't happen.
That's crazy, yeah.
Any given day, like, I mean, you was going to get doubled too.
Who's y'all tight end then?
I mean, we had a U.
Yeah.
And then Ricky came on because we was really a two receiver set there for a long time. And then Ricky came in. Art got hurt. Ricky took his place, and then Ricky had the Super Bowl. Well, he broke the record in the Super Bowl. And people forget Art played in that game, but Ricky started the game.
Oh, Ricky! I didn't know that.
Ricky started the game. Then we came back the next year in training camp. They said first team up.
And it was 3 wide.
And neither Ricky or Art stepped into the huddle. And then Art stepped into the huddle, and that's honestly how he probably kept his starting job.
You just by stepping in the huddle?
Monk.
Yeah.
You know,
I told him.
And me and Ricky, we're all boys, but me and Ricky were boys.
Yeah.
We was gonna get in trouble together, hang out together, lie for each other. We was gonna be, we were boys.
It feel like they let y'all work that out.
You know, but I cursed Ricky out. I was like, "What was you doing?"
Yeah,
you should have got in there.
Dude, you just broke the record in the Super Bowl. You're Super Bowl record breaker.
Yeah.
At that point in time, you're the best in the Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
Why did you not step into the huddle?
Yeah,
And
he
then
even had Art questioning it. Oh, I don't know.
He went and talked. Hold on. He went and talked to Joe. And then Joe, at the next meeting, Joe K. I just want to let everybody know we got 3 starting wide receivers. Right then and there.
So he changed the whole formation.
Right then and there, we got 3 starting.
Yeah.
And for Clint Didier, because you and Clint very similar.
Oh,
Clint,
okay.
bad boy.
Yeah.
Bad boy. That boy he catch everything.
There you go.
Catch
Love that.
everything.
So y'all in the Houston Oilers was the first to fire the fullback. Y'all fired the
Man.
fullback.
At that point in time, and then, but Ricky was a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Art,
good.
Art Monk is Art Monk.
I
We
didn't,
already
I
know
didn't know
what he
that's
is.
how that came about. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
No.
So obviously, I think we can say hell yeah, the posse's the posse. Right?
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
like I say, it ain't. I
But-
wouldn't say this group is the best group since the posse, so I got to go with a hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no. And I'm also going to say
no.
hell no. But I do think this group could have a special year this year, and we could be talking about them differently next year.
And I don't want to be. This is what I want to say. If you got a quarterback, your group is automatically finna be up there anyway. So if you want to judge,
Quarterback and O-line too, and I think
Yeah.
this
The O-line is the most important part.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
Talk about why.
We don't
I mean,
catch nothing if our O-line don't block.
dude, you say that all the time
That's
too,
what it
Ted.
And
is.
that's
It's
why
all
Joe
about the
Jacoby
O-line.
should be in the Hall of Fame also. There's a lot of
100%.
guys out them team that should be in the Hall of Fame that's not in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So this is really a question for Gary. Everyone can contribute, but Dan Quinn has built a culture very similar to that of when Joe Gibbs was here. And I wasn't here with Joe Gibbs. You
I
were here with
was.
Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
You're with Joe Gibbs. So maybe we can talk about.
I was 2.0 Joe Gibbs, so
Yeah.
you got to tell us about the first
You
thing.
want me to talk about how the reason he came back?
What?
How the reason?
Has Fred? Have you guys heard the story about how Fred got Joe Gibbs to come
Man, we
back?
don't want to hear that story no more.
heard that story?
I'm tired of hearing him put. I don't want
Fred,
to put himself in every
Justin
story.
hasn't heard your story, so you go ahead and tell that story real quick.
Hey, I'm not
No,
gonna do it.
Gary, talk to us about Joe Gibbs and his first stint. What was so special about Joe Gibbs and his first stint in Washington?
I mean, the best thing about Joe is Joe knew how to manage people. He knew that every player was not the same type of player. He knew I was not Art Monk. I was not Art. I didn't have the same mentality Art.
Yeah.
He knew how to coach each player differently. Like what you could say to Art to get Art fired up is not the same thing you could say to me to get fired up. Getting me fired up is talking shit about me.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking like you can't
You know what's
do this,
crazy?
can't do
You
this.
have such an edge.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this is the first time we've hung out for a long
Yeah.
time.
Oh, no.
And I feel the competitor.
You can tell that him and
at
you can tell
every
that him
moment.
and B Mitch was teammates,
Oh, my
right?
God,
You can
so
tell that they were
similar.
teammates.
So
That-
similar.
yeah, that's we have a very similar mentality, me and B Mitch, yes.
But I think about like what you're saying there, and that's one of the things that I think Dan is excellent at.
Yeah.
Is your ability to talk to people differently.
Yes.
Like Fred.
And let them know I got your back.
Yes.
And be
Yeah.
genuine when I say that. That's you don't get genuine from coaches. And from being around Coach Gibbs and being around Dan Quinn, that's the person you get 24/7. I don't have to
Yeah.
second guess what they say to me. I believe, and what they say to me, I trust. You don't get that without coaches.
So just to add to what Gary talked about a little bit with Joe Gibbs, I got a chance to play with him for 3 years in his second stint, Gibbs 2.0. And what stood out to me about Coach Gibbs is something that he said to me a couple of times. One, he spoke about handling guys differently. He told me something. He said, so one night I had a long night out, and
You had a long night out?
yeah, I had a long
Really?
night out. Yeah,
You
I was
never
just,
do that.
I was hanging. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I'm gonna hit these streets hard, man.
DC can do that to a man.
And so on my way back, being that I was a smart guy, on my way back, I said, you know what? Drop me off at the facility. I'd rather go in there and sleep in my locker
Yeah.
so I could be to work instead of having the chance of getting up, knowing that it was already 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I go, as I'm going down to my locker,
4 or 5?
I bump into Joe Gibbs. Coach Gibbs got a towel on. We bump into each other.
What you doing? What you doing here, Tanner?
What the hell going on? He like, damn, Tanner, where you coming from? I'm like, Coach, I had a long one, so I'm gonna come in here and sleep in my locker.
Yeah.
He like, all right, go in and get you some sleep. I'm finna take a shower. So the next morning, I'm like, damn, Coach Gibbs here. What the hell?
He spent the night.
What I found out about Coach Gibbs, he spent the night there, and that's what his routine for years.
Yeah.
He would spend the night at the facility because he's putting in overtime work. And what he told me, briefly before we went to that meeting, he said, look, I'm glad that you're here first in meetings.
Yeah.
A lot of guys would have went home, so I know how much this means to you. And he say, I'm gonna tell you something about, I don't have a problem with you guys enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you're gonna live the way you live. I'm a Christian, I don't do a lot of things that other guys do.
Yeah.
But he said, as long as we all on the same accord, in between those white lines, that's all I have to worry about.
Yeah.
And that stood out to me, you know. So basically telling you, like, look, man, go be a man. Go enjoy life, do what you do. But when we blow that whistle and you in between them white lines, I need you to go out there and play the way I'm gonna expect you to play. So that stood out to me, one, and then two, something he did also in that same year. We scratched our whole playbook, our passing game. He found out that our passing game wasn't working after week 1 against Chicago, and he said, look, if you can run these plays that the other team is playing against, whoever our opponent that is, that if you can run these routes, we're gonna put more, we're gonna use what we always say is a copycat league. We're gonna use what's working against the teams that we're facing. And so we went into every game in 05 playing against our opponent with the teams that they played against the game before us, that they wasn't successful on. We went and took their plays.
Yeah.
And like he kept the run game and he just changed the passing game. So that stood out to me, to show him that he was a guy that was willing to adapt. Yeah. He adapted to what was going on now, and he also adapted to the players that he had, knowing that I can't be one of those guys to tell these guys that they can't do something because they're going to do it anyway. They're all men. So that what stood out about Joe Gibbs, and that's why I understand why when you look back at his whole resume, the reason why he was a Super Bowl champion with 3 different quarterbacks, because he know how to get anybody to go out there and play for him.
So back to the question: hell yeah or hell no? Do you feel like it's similar to what Dan's doing?
I say
now?
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's it. What do you think? I mean,
I don't know the environment.
Yeah,
I'm not.
but
I'm
they
not,
do.
I'm-
So
He said he don't know the
Based
Queen
on-
as much as he
based
knows.
on what you said, they sound very
But it
similar.
seems like after last year,
From
it
what you
definitely
saw,
seems
from what you
that's
saw from
happening
Quinn.
because they hadn't did that until he got here. So
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna say hell yeah on that. And so I think this last one's for the fans, okay? And we can answer this too, but we'll start with the fans. The Commanders have all the pieces to win a Super Bowl now. Hell yeah or hell no? That was pretty confident.
Yeah, they do.
Pretty confident.
When you get 4 quarters away from the Super Bowl and you go retool the way we did, you call for reinforcements. Yes, you have a chance. Do we got Jedi 5? Yes, we got a chance. Do we got Coach Quinn? Yes, we got a chance. All right, we got bigger also. That we found out when we played that game against Philadelphia in the NFC Championship, we need to get bigger. All right, that's what we did in the offseason. Yeah, we got a chance. As long as we got 5 under center, we got a chance to dance. See you in Spain.
they got to taste it too. They got to taste what success feels like.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time. It had been since you guys played it. They had a chance to taste what success felt like.
Yeah.
And once you get that taste, though, it's like a good steak. I'm gonna have another good steak. I'm gonna have another good steak.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
Not only
another
the
good
taste,
steak.
not only the
I've had
taste.
too many good steaks, unfortunately.
They also understood what it feel like to honestly go out there and lay an egg. You know, I'm not saying like
Not finished.
not finish the game. I think when you look at that game, the way Jaden Daniels finished that game and played, every guy that went out there that didn't play their best, I guarantee you they felt bad watching this guy go out there, this young rookie quarterback go out there and give us a chance. We still had a chance.
With 5 minutes left.
And after all those turnovers. So if I'm ever a part of a game like that, to know that this is what we have at QB, man, give me another chance. Give me another time at it. Give me another shot at it. Because I know that I'm going to be better next time out, because I'm not going to allow to let my play affect what that young man did.
Yeah, so obviously we're really excited about the upcoming 2025 season. I want to say thanks to the Muni, man. This is an awesome
man,
place.
this is a great environment.
A round of applause, man.
Great
Appreciate y'all for coming out, too.
This looks like a great spot to come watch the Commanders game. Thanks to the Command Force for coming out. Major Tuddy, I don't know, he might have left, but thanks for coming out. Knock it up. Thanks for all the questions. And make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get this podcast. And if you like Gary Clark, you like Doug Williams, you like some of the more, the history of this
old
team.
guys.
The guys that actually won.
The Mount Rushmore of this team.
Yeah.
Check out the Hail Tales podcast. That's wherever you get your Commanders podcast. Appreciate you guys. Fans, thank you so much for coming out. You make this so much fun to do. Really appreciate it. Good night. And that's it.
Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah.
Hey, if you didn't sound like hurrah